Alright, so lap guide for Daily C. Grand Valley Speedway, Group 3s in the Supra. Alright, so beginning of the lap. We'll start with the chicane. Alright, so coming into the chicane, your track limits are these white lines. So at some point in the apex, you're going to want to put your right tires on this white line. And you're going to want to stay a little bit to the left so that when you get on the throttle here, you can go full throttle, short shift to third, and keep traction all the way out of the corner. Track limits, same thing for this corner, the white line. As long as your left side tires are on this white line, you won't get a penalty. So if you're too wide with people, just put your left front on this white line and try to stay to the inside on the exit, and you should be okay. If you really want, you can come in a little bit wider to set this up more. Just know that if you have a faster exit speed, you're going to understeer more on the exit. So like you can come out here, square the car up, come in pretty much straight, and then just turn right with a lot more speed. And that'll give you, you know, a couple kilometers, couple miles per hour at the start-finish line. Okay, so second gear. Left side tires, white line. Right? Use a little bit of the inside curb to rotate the car, but keep it mostly square. With mid-engine cars, it's a little bit harder because if you get on a curb like this, it just goes sideways. Alright, so I'm aiming my front tires for this white line. My front left. Right, I'm in third gear already. So I'm in second. Still second. As soon as I touch this curb, I'm going to shift to third. As soon as I touch it with my front tires. Boop. And a little lift. And a third. Get close to that wall. As close as you can to that wall. Same thing with this wall. And put your car inside the white line to the left. A little bit of this curb. Almost touch the inside wall where the lights are. Try to carry as much speed as possible. Don't scrub anything off. Okay, so turn one. Alright, I like to come in a little bit more shallow. I like to stay to the left side of the road. I don't really like to come across from the right side. Yes, you come in a lot more square, especially for the mid-engine cars. They appreciate that a lot because when they brake around the 300-meter board, it's pretty much a straight shot and they can stay on the left side of the road. So if you come in from the right side of the road, the car will be more square when you brake into it. But you'll have to rotate the car more to get it all the way around the bend. So you'll come in straighter and you'll be pointed more towards this road on the left here. Okay, so right here I'm basically pointed at the apex at the 300-meter board. This is my braking point right here, 300-meter board. I'm already off the throttle. Starting to apply brake. And I just brake pretty much in a straight line. Gradually come across the middle of the road. Try to aim for this inside white line with your front tire. Go down to second. Still in third. Then down to second. Letting the car rotate. Trail braking. Go down to first. Hook the car back in. And get a really good exit. Now this is all just exit. This is all just 100% full throttle all the way out of the corner. Okay. You can use this curb on the exit. This is fine. Yes, I'm right next to the wall, but there's a curb here. Use the curb. There's like, I don't know, 3 feet of road. Not to mention the curb is banked. So it'll at least stop you from going way up here, even though I'm on that. This is how close I like to get to walls. Alright, so ride this inside curb all the way down this hill. Okay, right about here. See how it kinks to the left? Right here, underneath this bridge. This is when you start leading the car back over to the right side of the road. A lot of people come in and they try to stay too far to the left, too long, and then they're having to lift or brake in order to get the car to come back to the right side of the road. And it just understeers. So they come into here, they try to take too sharp of an angle for how fast they're going, and the car just doesn't turn. It just plows and wants to go straight. And then they end up in that sand on the inside, and then they end up on that right wall down there before the hairpin. Right, so stay left. Right about here, this area is where you start turning in. And you just want to time it so that you gradually come in. And then once you get to this point, you hold right and you get your front right tire on this curb. And just keep it on this curb for as long as you can. So you come out of here and then you want to be postured up to the right more so that you can cut back to the left. And the car should stay to the left side of the road comfortably. You shouldn't be understeering way out here. If you're understeering on the exit of this left-hand corner, good luck braking on the left side of the track coming into the hairpin. It's just not going to happen. Alright, so I'm already turning right. Right here. I'm just going to guide the car Lead it in. I'm in 5th gear still. Right, middle of the track. Bring it in about 3/4 as the corner starts to get sharper. Alright, right side tires, inside curb. Hold it. Stay committed. A little bit of sand's okay. Never hurt anybody. At least you're on the apex. And I'm just flat, I'm pretty sure. Just flat in 6th. Oh, little lift. Just a slight lift. Okay. 300-meter board. I actually braked a little bit late. 300-meter board, that's your braking point. Brake in a straight line. Okay. I started turning a little bit early. I could have braked a little bit straighter, I think. Slowed the car down a little bit more. And then started to rotate it in from here. But basically, you want to get the car down to 2nd gear by the time you hit this point in the track. So that way, when you turn in, you can downshift to 1st, give it a little bit of throttle, dip the car down, get close to the inside of this corner. What we got? 3 boulders, 4 boulders, 5, 6, 7. 7 boulders on the inside of this corner. I'd say about halfway. You want to be down here at least. You want to come in right about here. Sweep in. Use the banking, right? And then keep the car to the inside on the exit. People see banked road and they just go straight here. And then all of a sudden they get to this point in the track and they're like, oh shit, I can't hold it full throttle anymore. I'm about to understeer into this wall. It's like, yeah, well, you should have kept turning way the fuck back here when you were going the speed of smell. But you decided the gas pedal and lightening up on your steering was a good idea, and now you have to lift, and now you're getting passed by some guy that held it on the bottom and could just put his fucking foot down. But that's none of my business. Right, so I slide it in there. A little bit sloppy. Kind of sloppy. This is not a good example. A good example is I'm going like 10 kilometers slower here, and I can actually ease off the brakes and trail brake and, you know, get the car down to the inside of the corner. Instead, I have to compensate for a little bit of understeer and excess speed, and I slide the car in, shift down to 1st, trail brake, turn excessively, slide the car a little bit, cut it back in, and then try to accelerate while bringing the car back into the corner. So I'm back into 2nd, starting to get on the throttle, and it's just understeering for a second. I'm like, come on, turn, go back in. Yeah. And I'm just like, if I screw up this entry, I have to get a good exit, period. That's rule number 1. You screw up an entry, you go a little bit wide, guess what you better do? You better adjust your apex and maximize that exit. Because the entry's already toast. You've already gone in wide, right? So what happens when you're behind a car and you want to pass them and they're running the blocking line? You just go in wide, time it so that when you come out of the corner and you hit the exit curb, you're going 10 kilometers an hour faster than they are. This is the same scenario. where I've just gone in a little bit wide, and when I come out of this corner, I'm going to be hauling ass because I had to go the speed of smell right before the apex to adjust for my crappy entry. Right? Use that little bit of road on the left, outside the white line. Okay, coming into here. Don't be scared to get to the right side of the track. You need to be on the right side of the track. Right? Right at the 100-meter board. Okay, start leading the car in. Okay? Middle of the track. Just inside the yellow line. Alright? I'm already braking way back here. Right? Just light brake. Roll the car in. Keep the car gripping. And at no point should you be full braking because you're using more than 45 degrees steering half the time through this corner. Right? It's all just light trail brake, control, being patient with your downshifts, being smart when you downshift, right? Keeping the car balanced. Cut that curb a little bit. Almost scrape this wall. Cut this a little bit. Get tight on that. Okay, so coming into here. Never full brake. Just don't. Nice and light. Soft. Right? Nice and soft. How much am I full braking? Go ahead, tell me. Where do I full brake? Through this entire section. How many corners we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corners. How sharp are they? They're pretty sharp. I wonder how many people just mash the brake. Yep. 0. I didn't 100% brake once. I hit like 75% max. There for a split second I used full brake. Half. That's another thing. It's like, you can try and run a line that somebody runs, but if you're not as controlled with your braking, and you don't allow the car to rotate the same way they do, you'll never be able to run that line. You'll just get understeer. Right, so you want to be careful. Make sure the car's not understeering on this exit. You should have it rotated enough at the apex so that you can go full throttle and make the exit comfortably. And you can use this little bit of road. But don't worry so much about coming out super early. You want to keep it low. Right? And it'll naturally just come out to the outside later on down the road. Then you come back across. Okay, coming into here, same thing. Gauge your speed. Brake a little bit early. Lift a little bit early. Let the car come back up. Downshift. Right? Half trail brake. Just roll it in. Roll it in. Right on to second. Come off the brakes. Lean into your steering. Let the car rotate. Right? Then start easing on the throttle. And keep the car turning. And use the throttle to rotate the car. Right? So then I'm back up in third. Just, you know what I mean? Left side tires, inside the white line. Nice and clean. Read the elevation of the road. See how this is kind of like banked a little bit? And it carries up to here, and then it flattens out. But if you're up here more, the track's more flat. Yeah, this little bit will kind of allow you to come to the left a little bit more. And kind of like keep you more in the center of the racing line. and then this is banked a little bit, right? So that'll kind of catch you as you come out on this exit. And you want to come all the way out here. This is your lane. This is your exit lane. When you come out of this corner, your car better be past these white dotted lines. And if it's not, and you're over here, you need to get the hell over here. You need to get as close to this wall as possible. If every lap in the race, you barely scrape this wall, I'll be happy. Why? Because at least you'll get close to it. At least you'll know where it is. You'll be like, okay, I can just scrape it. Going by, yeah, you can just scrape it. Go ahead, hit it a couple times. You won't even get a penalty. You're fine. Just, you know what I mean? Use the whole road. It's a tight part of track. It's only 2 lanes. They give you a 3rd lane, use that shit. I don't care if it's the pit lane. That's track. That's road. That's sticky shit. That's not even dirt. You know what I mean? I don't mind dirt. You see this? I'll drive on this all day. All fucking day. Yeah, it might be an asphalt track, but I'll drive on this shit if it means that I save 2/10. So if you give me this, I'm going to use this. This is going to be sick. Get an extra lane coming into here. Get a nice wide entry. Cut it in with lots of speed. And then stay to the right. Way over here. Why? Because everybody is going to try to carry way too much speed through this corner. They're going to understeer like a truck. And then what are they all going to do? Mash on the fucking brakes and come to a complete stop, and I'll park it on this fucking apex. Right? Right. I was going to sit here, just line up like fucking ducks. Right? And all you need is some guy on the exit of this corner with a fucking shotgun just going pow, pow, pow at fucking ducks going 15 kilometers an hour. Yep. But you know what you're going to do? You're going to get the fuck over here. Why? Because they're all going to understeer on the exit, and you're going to come in, shift the first about here, keep her inside, and then tuck it underneath them on the exit. And they're going to be flabbergasted on the outside here, wondering how the fuck a car got on the inside of them on the exit of this corner with a better run. They're not going to know. They're going to think you're Houdini. Be like, bro, this guy's a magician. It's like, no, this motherfucker knows how to use brakes and not understeer through a corner into another corner. What's rule number 1 with consecutive corners? Don't understeer through consecutive corners. What's this? A corner? What's this? Another corner? What's that make it? A consecutive fucking corner? What's that mean? Don't understeer and end up way the fuck over here going into a corner when, you know, there's kind of a straightaway after it. Like, do you think this straightaway matters? Do you think this little dinky-ass straightaway matters how fast you're going? No, it doesn't. This is for you to posture your car up for the next corner. It's not for you to come around this bend, floor it, and end up on the left side of the road. Right? It might be cambered a little bit. You might think you can cut the inside, and it might be a little bit faster, but it's not. Okay, so cut this a little bit on the right. Keep the car square, right? I lift to get the car to turn in. Just lift and steering. Right? Get back on the throttle. Get out to the outside wall. Tap the brake. Give it a little bit of throttle at the same time. Just keeping the car square. Right? I don't want the rear to slide out on me. I just want the car to roll in. Just keep carrying a little bit of speed while I trail brake. Right? And I cut this. And I just try and split the white line. Like, you can really risk it and put your left side tires on this white line every lap. But it's not really worth the risk. As long as you split it, you're not missing that much. Same thing with this corner. You don't have to put your left side tires on the white line. It's just a little bit faster if you hit it perfectly. right? So if you get the best setup possible coming out of this corner to then cut this corner perfectly, then yeah, go for it, whatever. But if you come out of here understeering a little bit and you come into here and you have to turn right a little bit harder, you're going to end up coming through here, fishtail, start drifting, right? As soon as you hit that patch of dirt, your understeer is going to turn to oversteer real fast because that right rear will just light up if you don't keep it square. So you have to kind of like straight line this even though you're cutting on the dirt and let the car come out kind of straight. And circuit experience, half the time I'm just like drifting out to this wall. Alright, then cut back in. I'm gonna cut that. Posture over to the right. I kind of cheat a little bit, but still, that's better than, you know what I mean, being in the left lane. You want to at least be in the right lane. Use this road on exit. This little piece of asphalt right here. This is super necessary. If you aren't using this piece right here, you're missing out on a lot of time. Your right tires can come all the way out to the edge of this. As long as you don't break traction, you're fine. Just use the extra road. Because the amount of speed you'll be able to carry coming out to this white line and having your right tires on this white line, coming out of a corner this tight, right? It's going to add that much more speed. Where you come out here and all of a sudden you'll be able to understeer a little bit, right? And be able to get on the throttle a little bit early. And you'll carry, you know, 5-10 kilometers an hour extra speed. Okay, so I just hooked my right tire on this white line, basically, on the inside of it. And I just follow my right tire all the way on the right side of this line. All the way down till we get to the 100-meter board. Okay, 100-meter board, brakes. Lightly turn. Not heavy, just nice and light. Brake mostly straight. Right? As you ease off the brakes, you're going to lean into your steering. And you're going to look for this white line. And you're going to try to put your left front tire inside this white line. Especially as you get further into the corner. So the further you get into this corner, the closer your tire should be to the inside. So that when you come out, you're postured up on the left side of the track. You can come out straight here, get a better entry into this corner, get a little bit of a better rotation mid-corner, and then use the road to cut back in and get a better exit. And it's all about keeping the car square. You just want to dab the brake. I mean, here, just a light brake dab, don't turn too much. Right? Come in pretty much straight. Just turning in a little bit, and I lift. Don't turn too much. Just firm brake, right? Steady steering. Letting the car rotate, right? This is where the car is kind of in like the middle of the road and it starts to rotate, cuts back in, and then I just accelerate. Right? I'm leaning into my steering, and then I get back on the throttle. Now I'm 90 degrees. Because this is also a long straightaway. And it's important. So you want to come out to that outside wall. And use that little bit of curb. It'll just allow you to carry a little bit more speed out of the corner. Yeah, you can use like all this. Like your left side tire can come up on this curb. And then just don't hit this guardrail afterwards. Sneaks up on you. Oh yeah. Okay, and then 100 meter board. That's your braking point. Steady off the brakes, nice and smooth. Be patient coming off the brakes, because if you let off the brakes, the rear end will skid. Right? If you're too quick to let off the brakes, the rear end will just slide out. Period. This is what happens. Nice and smooth. As I go into second, then I lean into my steering. Alright, let's watch the full lap in-car view. Be mindful of the weight transfer, especially when you're going high speeds. You have to lead the car. Nice and smooth with the trail brake. Don't full brake for no reason. If it's just gonna lock up your tires and make the car skid, don't bother. No penalty. I'll take it. We take those. It's really minor steering input through the last couple corners. Just clean, consistent, and patient. Yeah. Just try to lift when appropriate to avoid understeer. And focus on setting up corners rather than corner speed. And then as you get better at finding the line, your corner speed will increase as you pick up the pace. So like first find the line, right? So take that, look at the line, see where I put my car, where you put your car, right? The difference in inputs as far as trail braking, acceleration, when I'm accelerating, right? When I start to accelerate versus, you know what I mean? When you start to accelerate, or when I start braking versus when you start braking, like points of starting to turn in, leading the car in, how much steering, right? Little things like that. That will all add up. And that's, you know, that's where you get a little bit more speed from things. Is just getting the right line. And then once you get the right line, you get the smoothness, right? Things start to feel more natural and concrete. And then you start to push it a little bit and pick up the pace. Then yeah. Before you know it, you're just ripping around, having fun, chilling with the boys.